Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel BBC Rare Coins. Today we're taking a closer look at one of America's most iconic coins, the Washington quarter dollar. Let's start. Top 1. The year is 1965. The United States Mint is in the middle of one of the biggest transitions in American coinage history. Silver is disappearing from everyday money, production lines are overwhelmed, and millions of new copper-nickel quarters are being rushed into circulation. Nobody in the country has any idea that in the middle of this chaotic change, one small coin is about to become a legend. One Washington quarter from that year will eventually sell for an unbelievable $91,700, transforming an ordinary-looking piece of change into one of the most desirable treasures in U.S. numismatics. At first glance, the 1965 quarter doesn't seem special at all. Most people see that date and immediately assume it's common. It's the kind of coin you expect to find in old jars, couch cushions, and parking lot change trays. But what collectors discovered decades later was that a tiny number of these quarters were struck under rare and unusual conditions during the mint's transition period. In a year when the rules were changing, when old silver planchets were still being used up and new compositions were being introduced, a few extraordinary pieces slipped through. Pieces that were never meant to exist. One of these rare survivors eventually surfaced in pristine condition, catching the eye of experts who immediately realized they were looking at something extraordinary. It wasn't just the sharpness of the strike or the unusual characteristics that set it apart. It was the fact that this coin came from one of the most chaotic moments in U.S. coin production, a moment when anything unusual was possible. The coin drew attention, then excitement, then fierce competition. Collectors battled for it, and when the final auction hammer fell, the price exploded to an astonishing $91,700, a number that stunned the coin world and rewrote the story of the Washington quarter. This single coin changed the way people look at 1,965 quarters forever. It proved that even a coin from a year with massive mintage numbers can hide secrets. It taught collectors that rarity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. And it sparked a nationwide hunt for more examples, as people began pulling out their old collections, checking pocket change, and examining every 1965 quarter with new curiosity. What makes the story even more thrilling is the possibility that more rare 1965 pieces may still be out there. Tens of millions of quarters were produced that year. Most are ordinary, but somewhere among them, tucked away in forgotten boxes, old family stashes, or dusty coin albums, there could be another one of these remarkable finds waiting to be discovered. The idea that an everyday coin, a simple Washington quarter, could hold such incredible value adds a sense of excitement every time someone picks up a piece dated 1965. Collectors love this coin not just because of its price, but because of what it represents, a perfect combination of history, mystery, and timing. It captures a moment when the mint was changing everything, when new and old collided, and when mistakes slipped through unnoticed. And within that moment, one coin rose above all the rest and became a legend. The 1965 Washington quarter that sold for $91,700 isn't just a valuable coin. It's a reminder that hidden treasure can still be found in the most ordinary places. It shows that even in a pocket full of everyday change, history might be waiting to reveal itself. And it keeps alive the thrill of the hunt, the excitement that maybe, just maybe, the next person to find one of these rare coins could be you. Top 2. In the world of coin collecting, certain years seem ordinary on the surface, yet hide stories that spark the imagination of collectors everywhere. Among those years sits 1972, a year almost no one expects to contain anything rare or valuable. But hidden within the millions of Washington quarters minted that year is a mysterious and extraordinary piece that shocked the collecting community when it surfaced and sold for an incredible $61,900. Today, we're diving deep into the legend, the excitement, and the mystery surrounding the rare 1972 Washington quarter dollar that became one of the most astonishing finds in modern numismatics. The 1970s were a period of huge production for the U.S. Mint. Billions of coins flooded into circulation, and the Washington quarter was a workhorse of American commerce. For most people, a 1972 quarter is nothing special, the kind of coin you wouldn't give a second glance. But in the middle of that massive production run, a tiny number of coins were struck with unique features that set them apart in astonishing ways. Whether it was a striking error, a transitional mishap, or an accidental use of an incorrect planchet, these rare pieces became instant treasures when collectors finally uncovered them. One of these mysterious 1972 quarters emerged in remarkable condition, drawing immediate attention from experts who instantly knew they were looking at something extraordinary. Every detail revealed clues that this coin wasn't just a normal Washington quarter from the 1970s. It carried characteristics that pointed to an unusual moment in minting, a moment when something unexpected happened, something rare enough to remain hidden for decades. As word spread, excitement built, and when it finally went to auction, collectors battled fiercely for the chance to own it. The bidding soared far beyond expectations, climbing until the hammer dropped at a breathtaking $61,900. At that moment didn't just make headlines. It rewrote the way people viewed 1972 quarters entirely. Suddenly, a year everyone overlooked became a year filled with possibility. And that's what makes this story so captivating. The idea that an everyday coin, a simple quarter from a common year, could transform into one of the most valuable examples of its type. It reminded collectors that some of the greatest treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. The discovery of the $61,900 quarter sent collectors scrambling to re-examine their old coin jars, searching through drawers, checking albums, and paying closer attention to every Washington quarter that came their way. Because if one rare 1972 quarter exists, there could be more. Somewhere out there, another extraordinary piece might be waiting, untouched, unnoticed, or forgotten, just waiting for the right person to find it. What makes the 1972 quarter so fascinating isn't just its value. It represents a perfect combination of rarity, mystery, and historical significance. It tells the story of a time when the mint was producing millions of coins daily. Yet even in that high-speed environment, something unusual happened, something rare enough to create a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. It shows how even the smallest mistakes or variations can turn an ordinary object into an extraordinary treasure. The legendary $61,900 quarter has become a symbol of the thrill of the hunt. It proves that coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's an adventure filled with surprises. It's about the excitement of possibility, the idea that the next life-changing discovery could be sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket, purse, or change jar right now. The next time a Washington quarter from 1972 lands in your hand, don't just toss it aside. Look at it closely. Turn it over. Study it. Because somewhere out there, one ordinary-looking quarter became a $61,900 miracle. And stories like that remind us that the world of coins is full of mysteries, and the next great discovery could be waiting for anyone, even you. Top 3. In 1980, the United States Mint produced millions and millions of Washington quarters, coins so common that most people barely noticed them. It was a year of huge production, busy minting presses, and everyday change constantly flowing into the hands of the American public. Nothing about a 1980 quarter seemed special. Nothing about that date suggested anything rare, mysterious, or valuable. But hidden among those countless coins was one extraordinary piece, a single quarter that would go on to become one of the most surprising and valuable Washington quarters ever discovered, a coin that stunned collectors when it sold for an incredible $71,000. The story of this rare 1980 quarter begins in the chaos of high-speed minting. With so many coins being struck each minute, the perfect conditions were created for unexpected errors, the kind of mistakes that happen once in a generation, then disappear into circulation without anyone realizing what just occurred. Most errors are minor, barely noticeable, but once in a while, something truly exceptional is created by accident. That's exactly what happened with this mysterious 1980 Washington quarter. When the legendary $71,000 quarter first surfaced, it didn't look extraordinary to the average person. It had the familiar profile of George Washington on the front, the iconic eagle on the reverse, and the same size and shape as every other quarter from the era. But for trained eyes, subtle details began revealing themselves. Unusual characteristics, striking anomalies, hints that this was no ordinary coin. Within moments of examination, Experts knew they were holding something incredibly rare, the kind of coin collectors dream about, but almost never encounter. As news of this extraordinary find began to spread, excitement erupted across the numismatic world. Collectors wanted to know how this coin had survived untouched for so long. What unusual moment at the mint had created such a rare piece? And how could something so valuable hide unnoticed in the everyday world for so many years? When the coin finally went to auction, anticipation was sky high. Every major collector wanted a chance at it. The bidding climbed rapidly, higher and higher, until it reached a jaw-dropping $71,000, securing its place as one of the most valuable Washington quarters ever sold. That moment transformed the 1980 quarter from an overlooked piece of modern pocket change into a symbol of hidden treasure. Suddenly, people across the country began checking their coins more carefully. Coin jars were emptied. Old change was examined. Collections were rechecked with fresh excitement. Because if one extraordinary 1980 quarter worth $71,000 exists, the possibility remains that others could still be out there, buried in forgotten drawers, tucked away in piggy banks, or resting unnoticed in someone's pocket at this very moment. The rare 1980 Washington quarter has become a reminder that history doesn't always hide in museums or ancient artifacts. Sometimes, it hides in the most ordinary objects, the coins we spend every day without thinking twice. This legendary piece embodies the thrill of coin collecting, the mystery, the chase, the hope that an incredible discovery could be waiting right in front of you. What makes this story even more fascinating is that the 1980 quarter comes from a time many collectors overlook. Modern coins are often dismissed as too new, too common, too plain to hold any real secrets. But this $71,000 treasure proved otherwise. It showed that even in recent decades, extraordinary mistakes can happen, rare pieces can escape, and miracles can find their way into everyday circulation. The 1980 rare quarter stands as a testament to the unexpected. It reminds us that the most valuable things are not always ancient, and the most extraordinary discoveries can appear in the most ordinary places. It invites everyone, collectors, hobbyists, and ordinary people alike, to take a closer look at the world around them. The next time a Washington quarter from 1980 passes through your hands, don't overlook it. Check it carefully. Study the details. Because one such coin turned out to be worth $71,000, and stories like this remind us that hidden treasures still exist, just waiting for the right person to uncover them. The mystery of the rare 1980 quarter continues, inspiring the thrill of the hunt and keeping the dream alive that the next legendary discovery could belong to you. Top 4. In 1990, the Washington quarter was one of the most common coins in America. Millions upon millions were struck that year, filling pockets, wallets, vending machines, and cash registers everywhere. To most people, a 1990 quarter was nothing more than everyday change. Ordinary, familiar, completely unremarkable. But hidden among the endless piles of these coins was one extraordinary piece, a quarter that would go on to shock collectors and become one of the most valuable Washington quarters ever discovered. This single coin, born in the middle of a decade no one expected to hold any secrets, would eventually sell for an astonishing $59,700. The story begins inside the high-speed presses of the U.S. Mint. During the early 1990s, production was running at full force. Billions of coins were being created each year, and the machinery never seemed to rest. In such a fast-moving environment, unusual things can happen. Mistakes, rare misstrikes, unexpected planchets slipping into the wrong batch, and once-in-a-lifetime minting events that go unnoticed until years later. And somewhere in that whirlwind of coin production, something special occurred, creating a 1990 quarter unlike any other. When the rare $59,700 quarter finally surfaced, it didn't announce itself with flashy features or an obvious appearance. To the average eye, it looked like any other Washington quarter from the 1990s. Same portrait, same eagle, same size, same shine. But when collectors and experts examined it closely, small details began to reveal a different story. Its characteristics didn't match the typical profile of a 1990 quarter. Something unique had happened during its creation, something that instantly set it apart as one of the most valuable modern-era Washington quarters ever seen. News of this unusual coin traveled quickly through the numismatic community, and the excitement grew with each new detail that came to light. Everyone wanted to know, what caused this extraordinary error? How did it leave the mint without being noticed? And how had it survived for decades untouched, hiding quietly until the moment it was finally discovered? When the coin made its way to auction, collectors waited with anticipation. Bidding began, then escalated, then exploded into a fierce competition. And when the auctioneer's hammer finally fell, the price reached an incredible $59,700, forever cementing its place among the most valuable Washington quarters in American history. This discovery changed everything people thought they knew about 1990 quarters. Suddenly, a year everyone ignored became a year of possibility. A year that once seemed common became a source of mystery. Collectors began rushing to check their old coins, hoping lightning might strike twice. Because if one rare 1990 quarter worth nearly $60,000 exists, who's to say there aren't others still hidden in jars, drawers, boxes, or pocket change? The rare 1990 quarter represents more than just a high-dollar sale. It symbolizes the magic of coin collecting itself. It reminds us that history isn't always ancient. Sometimes, it's resting quietly in the coins we touch every day without thinking. It tells the story of chance, of timing, of a single moment at the mint where something unusual happened and created a coin destined to become a legend. What makes the $59,700 quarter so captivating is that it came from a time most collectors overlook. Modern coins are often dismissed as too plain or too common to hold real value. But this coin proved that even in recent decades, extraordinary pieces can emerge. Rare moments can slip through unnoticed. And treasures can hide in the most unexpected places. The next time a Washington quarter from 1990 passes through your hands, don't ignore it. Look closely. Hold it up to the light. Examine every detail. Because one ordinary-looking quarter from this year became a $59,700 masterpiece. A reminder that hidden treasures still exist, waiting quietly for the right person to discover them. And maybe, just maybe, the next legendary coin is already in your pocket. Top 5. A 1992 quarter wasn't something people saved. It wasn't something collectors chased. It was simply part of everyday life. Common, familiar, unremarkable. Or so everyone thought. Hidden somewhere in this massive sea of quarters was one extraordinary coin. A piece that would become one of the rarest and most valuable Washington quarters ever discovered. This single quarter, unnoticed for years, would eventually surface and astonish the collecting world with a staggering value of $65,200. And its story has become one of the most fascinating modern legends in American numismatics. The creation of this rare 1992 quarter began deep inside the mint, where machines thundered day and night, striking coins faster than the eye could see. In an environment like that, unexpected things can happen, and once in a great while, something truly remarkable slips through. A mix-up, an error, a unique strike, a planchet that shouldn't have been used. No one knew exactly what caused the unusual features on this extraordinary quarter. But whatever happened, it created a coin unlike any other from its year. When the legendary 1992 quarter finally emerged, it didn't glow or shine with obvious rarity. To most people, it still looked like just another quarter from the early 90s. It carried Washington's familiar portrait, the traditional eagle reverse, and the same metallic luster as millions of others. But experts immediately noticed details that didn't fit the norm. Tiny clues that hinted at a rare minting moment, the kind that collectors spend their entire lives searching for. Word spread quickly. A mysterious 1992 quarter with unusual characteristics had been found, and the excitement was impossible to ignore. Collectors examined photos, debated possibilities, and speculated about what made this coin so special. Its perfect preservation, its unusual features, its mysterious origin, all of it pointed to a coin with serious value. When the quarter reached the auction block, anticipation filled the room. Bidding opened strong, climbed fast, and continued rising with every call. When the final hammer struck, the price stood at an incredible $65,200. That moment transformed the 1992 quarter from an overlooked modern coin into a symbol of hidden treasure. It proved that the most valuable discoveries aren't always ancient or worn with age. Sometimes, they're modern coins from years most people ignore. And that realization sent collectors everywhere running to their jars, checking their piggy banks, flipping through their old albums, hoping they might be holding something just as rare. The $65,200 quarter reminds us that rarity doesn't follow rules. It doesn't obey expectations. It appears where you least expect it, in the ordinary, in the overlooked, in the everyday coins we barely notice. The idea that such a valuable piece could hide among billions of common quarters gives the story its magic. It makes people look twice at the coins they once ignored. It brings back the thrill of the hunt, the excitement that maybe, just maybe, something extraordinary could be found by anyone. Collectors love this quarter not only for its value, but for what it represents. It tells the story of a moment at the mint when something unusual happened, something not meant to occur, yet preserved perfectly in metal. It captures the mystery of a coin that should have been ordinary, but instead became a legend worth tens of thousands of dollars. Oh, the next time a Washington quarter from 1992 lands in your hand, pause for a moment. Look closely. Examine every detail. Because one quarter from that year shocked the world by becoming a $65,200 treasure. And who knows, the next rare discovery might be waiting in your pocket, your purse, your glove box, or your forgotten jar of coins. The hidden secrets of 1992 are still out there. And the next legendary coin could be yours.